downtime as a surgeon is massive, you know, and a lot of the doctors will go to the coffee room and the doctors, you know, will do their private practice, you know, correspondence, letters, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't. What I came up with was, look, when I start closing the wound, my junior can take over, and I'm going to go next door to the other theater where the anesthetist has taken an hour to get the patient to sleep and the patient's now ready. I will walk in, do the operation, and while I'm doing that, they're getting my patient out, cleaning the theater, bringing in the next one, and by the time I finish the second operation, I can walk back into the first theater and the patient's ready for me. And so I would go backwards and forwards. I had two anesthetists, two theater teams, and I was churning out the work. 10, 12 operations in a day. Like, and the waiting list. But then my colleague came in and went, "What are you doing?" I went, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Why are you working so hard?" I was like, "I'm getting rid of the waiting list." He went, "No, but you're doing this all wrong. You're doing this all back to front." I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you're gonna overwork yourself. You're gonna just burn out. Look, you keep a waiting list so you can have leverage over the managers, and you build up enough waiting lists, and then people will come to you in the private sector, and those that can't pay for you, the managers will send to the private hospitals and pay you to operate on them over there. Everyone's happy. You're just disrupting the way things are done. And you're making us all look bad because we're not doing what you're doing. And I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Is this how it works? I'm very upset with my medical profession and colleagues because going back to the last few crazy years, I think we've seen how medical ethics have been completely demolished. But the reality is, it wasn't the last few years that did it. All the last few years did, Neil, was expose what was already there. People today are not really getting informed consent. People today don't have bodily autonomy. People today are being misled by doctors who don't actually say the oath. I never said the Hippocratic Oath. I never went through university and had to say that. And this whole premise of first do no harm is complete nonsense. It's nonsensical. You know, I'll read it out to you. Let me just minimize this window. So this is a clip of what I was saying on the James Delling podcast. And one of my listeners printed it out and did a meme. So when they being the doctors, when they say first do no harm, what they actually mean is do no harm to my license, do no harm to my income, do no harm to my reputation. Oh God, no. Do no harm to my standing in the community. Do no harm to my career. Do no harm to my mistress. Do no harm to my holidays. Do no harm to my kids' private schooling. And maybe then, if it comes down to it, do no harm to my patients, but only if I'm sticking to the guidelines. That's what's the reality of the situation we live in today.